My hag of a stepmom gave away my PS4 while I was away at college, so I rented out, quote, her house while she was away on her honeymoon with her newest husband. I've been reading lots of Reddit lately, especially entitled parents, but I made a new account when I came across this page. I never thought I'd actually try to contribute something. Until now, Reddit's just been a guilty morning coffee read. So, here it goes. I'm an only son. My mom died of ovarian cancer at only 55 5 years ago. It broke my dad's heart. They had been together since college and were the same age, with my dad only being a month older. I'm 22 and I'm about to graduate college with my degree in chemistry when the main event starts to occur. I went to college on a full-ride scholarship. This is important later. My dad met my now stepmom when she was the nurse at my mom's hospital where she spent her final days. My stepmom, let's call her Grace, played all the right notes to give my dad's trust. She was empathetic to him, nurturing, and comforting after my mom's passing. I was 17 and old enough to sense that she was trying to weasel her way into getting my dad's resources. But it was up to my dad if he wanted to be in a relationship with her. I, on the other hand, was in my final year of public school and had just won a scholarship to attend college out of the country the following year. My dad mourned my mom for a year, and that whole time Grace would check in on him by phone every month or so, in my opinion to scope out the possibility of sinking her hooks into him. After a year had passed, Grace took off the gloves and went after my dad hard. Grace was only 40 when she and my dad started seeing each other. I didn't like her, but at the same time, at least my dad didn't seem so depressed anymore. I tried to be less pessimistic about her and give her the benefit of the doubt. In my gut, I didn't trust her though. But we were Scandinavian, and at least in my family, the son does not tell the father what to do or offer any opinion. Grace is from the Czech Republic if you're wondering. My father was a very successful banker during his career and had amassed quite a portfolio of wealth. I'll spare you the details, but after 6 months of dating, Grace and my father are married. My dad never really got over mom though, and he was getting weaker and weaker even though he was only 57. Since his health was fading, he called me to him and asked me point blank, "Boy, what do you need to set you up in life?" I told him, "I don't need anything. I'm a man and I can take care of myself." "But what are you even talking about, Dad? You're gonna be around for decades." Yet, I did remind him that he had living sisters with children, and I also reminded him that I had a full scholarship to college, so don't worry about giving me any cash. A year later, he died at 59. I of course have seen lots of Hollywood movies, so I consider the conspiracy theory that maybe my dad's nurse wife poisoned him and made him sign over all his money to her, but I really honestly don't think that's what happened. Other relatives didn't like Grace either, but they knew my dad was totally in love with my mom and that her death utterly broke him. Well, long story short, my dad bequeathed his 5-bedroom house to me even though I wasn't expecting it and I didn't ask for it. He gave a small endowment to each one of his sisters and their children. He left about 80% of all of his existing money to Grace, which amounted to several hundreds of thousands of dollars. My dad ignored me because, of course, he's generous to a fault, and he still gave me tens of thousands of dollars, which were, of course, very helpful to me. Grace tried to put on a friendly front, but I could tell that she was super angry that she didn't get my dad's house too. That belonged to me, and I had the legal papers to prove it. She was especially mad because we live in an extremely upscale and trendy location, and houses are hard to come by and easily sold for massive profit. During the first few months after my dad's death, I had the nauseating, creeping experience of knowing that Grace was trying to feel me out to see if I might be into a little relationship with her. Ugh, gross. She still stayed at the house though, because over the last 3 years she had gotten used to living there and she acted like she owned it. And even though I officially owned it, I was always away at college and only visited my dad's old house once every couple of months. And even then, it wasn't to see Grace, but to see my cousins who lived just a few miles away. I downplayed the fact that it was really my house, and over the months I think Grace gradually forgot that she had no legal right to the house. She probably believed that sooner or later, because I never asked her for any of the hundreds of thousands of my dad's dollars that she had, and that somehow I was independently wealthy and would just give up my house to her. I knew I'd eventually blow the lid on this when she started dating some new guy only 5 months after my dad was in the ground. And one time, when I came home from college after graduating, she and her new boyfriend, some sleazy looking d-bag named Ivan, who was only a few years older than me, were acting like I was a guest in my own house and that they owned it. I played along. Grace told me that she gave away my PS4 to Ivan's cousin because I'm, quote, too old to be playing with video games. I don't even know this kid and you gave away my PS4? To somebody I don't even know? I quickly changed all my network passwords the same day. I smiled, but I knew what I had to do eventually. She also said that she and Ivan were getting married because, quote, I can't mourn your father forever. I have a life to move on with. I tell her that I graduated college and already secured employment with a local firm and will, quote, find a new place to live. She looks thrilled, especially the part where it looks like I'll have to find a new place to live. Then in a patronizing way, she tells me, quote, you'll always have a place in our house though. You're welcome to stay whenever you please. Thanks, Grace. Really generous of you. What I really say is I'll probably find a new place in 3 months. She says this is wonderful because she intends to go to her homeland to have a wedding with Ivan and afterwards have her honeymoon. She assures me it's a local affair, otherwise I'd invite you, honey. And anyway, I know you're busy. I congratulate her. She asked me if I can watch the house for her. Watch my own house? Sure. What I really say is, of course, I'll take care of the house. I'm careful not to say, quote, your house. She and her D-bag fiance, who I'm 100% sure is only there for Grace's money, go on their trip and I immediately put out advertisements and rental websites offering to lease out my house. I hire movers and have all of Grace's furniture and possessions boxed up and put in a storage facility. I retain all of my parents' furniture that they had before my dad met Grace. The locks? Changed. All of them. Within days, I'm undaunted with dozens of inquiries regarding my amazing furnished house with fantastic views. I rent it to a wonderful young family, a barrister and a schoolteacher wife and their 2 preteen children. They pay me their first and last month's rent and sign a lease for the year. I warn them about my crazy stepmom who thinks this house is hers, and I present them with contact information for my lawyer, the same lawyer that my dad retained in case they need any assurance that I'm on the level. I also give my lawyer the information about the storage facility, including the fact that I generously paid for 4 months of storage in advance, which is a whole month longer than Grace's Czech honeymoon adventure. I then found a great apartment in the city near my new place of work. There, I met a woman in a restaurant that I frequent at night after a long day of work. We've been dating for 6 months now and we're engaged. Grace, of course, tried to shriek and cause trouble when she realized that she got kicked out of my house. But my lawyer quickly shut her mouth without me ever having to speak to her garbage face again. From what I hear, her and her trash husband left the country, and I assume they're still blowing through my dad's money, and will soon be broke like chavs usually become when they get a taste of a little bit what they think is a good life. So maybe Grace will go and try to exploit some other lonely man and giving her his money. Speaking of money, the house that I rent out is generating so much money that I'm not only able to pay for my cousin's college, but I moved into a larger apartment on my own, together with my fiance. I love my job, but really, I could survive solely on renting my dad's old house. And to think, if Grace had only been cooler and nicer, I might have let her stay at the house, just to be a good sport. And definitely if she stayed out of my room. But no, she had to act like she was the owner, so I had to make her homeless as a wedding gift. Proscript, I bought another PS4. Even though I didn't even use the old one that much, it didn't matter. It wasn't for Grace to give away. You don't give away people's things, you give away your own things. Which is why I chose to kick Grace out of my house, because it's mine, and I decide who stays there. I love this story. OP's stepmom is such a terrible person. I can't believe people do this, just use up somebody's money and then flaunt it in front of their living relatives after they die. She definitely deserved everything that was coming to her, and maybe even more. I don't think she even deserves your dad's money, but I'm glad you're a good sport and just let her have it. Good for you, OP. I'm glad you're living your best life.
Guy quits his job thinking he became rich. Hey, new to Reddit. I thought that I would post my story here. I work for a construction company and we do remodeling on homes. We have a rule here that we get to keep anything that we find hidden in the walls. We hired this guy, we really need a worker badly, who was a total a-hole from day one. I've been working for this company for 5 years, and this guy's only been doing construction for 1 year after he got fired from his accounting job for getting a DUI. Anyways, he would always make fun of my clothes and my accent, and one day he just went too far by telling my boss about my private Instagram account pics. He got on my phone and looked through my Instagram page and showed my boss a picture of me smoking weed. Little did he know that my boss is my friend from 8 years and we used to smoke together before we both quit. I was so mad that he violated my privacy, then I made a plan to screw him over. He was the kind of guy who would always come in late and complain that trains or traffic is why he's late. One day I overheard him saying that if he won the lottery, he would quit his job for not getting the, quote, respect he deserves. You have to earn your respect here. One day I bought some fake gold coins online and I put them in a metal box that I found at an antique store and waited for a chance to hide it in a wall. Luckily, I did not have to wait long. The day that he found the coins, it seemed like it was his best day ever. First thing he did when he opened the box, he called my boss an effing loser and quit immediately on the spot. He said, "F this place, I'm rich, LOL." Little does he know that that was the best day of my life. After he quit, my boss told us that he was going to fire him anyways for always showing up late. Oh, I wish I could see the look on his face when he finds out the gold coins are fake. Best $40 I spent in my life. I apologize for my grammar, this just happened today and my adrenaline is pumping hard. Thanks for reading. OP, this is hilarious and part of the reason why I love ProRevenge so much. This guy's kinda dumb just to quit on the spot like that without even making sure the coins are real. Are antique gold coins even enough to quit your job over? I don't know, but this was pretty hilarious. Thank you, OP.
If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you really enjoy our content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace. And had amassed quite a portfolio of wealth.